So, Prince Harry finally sat down for tea with King Charles, and of course, the whole world is buzzing. Not just about the short, 55-minute meeting itself, but about what wasn't said, who didn't show up, and who's probably fuming behind closed doors. The royal press wants to frame it as a step toward healing, but let's be honest, it felt less like a heartfelt family reunion and more like a carefully staged PR move. This wasn't spontaneous father-son bonding. This was strategy. This was optics. And Meghan? Nowhere in sight. Not in the car, not at Clarence's house, not even caught in a paparazzi frame, yet somehow, she still managed to dominate the conversation. Here's why. This was Harry's first face-to-face with his father since the cancer diagnosis went public. That alone gave the meeting weight. But remember the last time Harry visited? He leaked it ahead of time. Not this round. This time, things were locked down, probably because Charles didn't want his private health becoming podcast material. After years of tell-all interviews and docuseries disguised as therapy sessions, no one would have been surprised if Harry walked in with a MIC tucked under his collar. Still, he got his 55 minutes with the king, and just like that, it was over. No Camilla, no William, no united front. Just tea and a ticking clock. It almost felt like Charles had a free hour in his schedule and decided, fine, let's give the boy a slot. Maybe even to prove a point that is not as frail as the headlines suggest. A subtle message: I'm not on my deathbed, stop telling the world I am. But the real drama wasn't in Clarence's house. It was online. Because while Harry was in London, Meghan's social media lit up. She reposted a sweet clip of Harry playfighting with a little girl, hearts, swords, the whole thing. Instantly, people assumed she was there. That she filmed it. That she was lurking in the background, ready to reappear like a plot twist. Except, the video had Hello Magazine's watermark. Meghan didn't film it. She wasn't even at the event. She just reposted a public clip, but in doing so, she claimed emotional territory. A silent reminder to the world, don't forget, he's mine. And it worked. The second it went up, gossip pages and DMs exploded. Was Meghan in London? Was she hiding behind the camera? Did she meet Charles too? The truth? No. No. And absolutely not. If Meghan had been in that car to see Charles, it wouldn't have been a quiet tea. It would have been a Netflix production, complete with dramatic lighting and voiceover narration. That's what makes this so frustrating. Meghan understands optics better than anyone. She knows exactly how to shift the spotlight even when she's not in the room. Why would Meghan repost a clip everyone had already seen unless she wanted people to believe she was part of it? To make it look like she captured it, like she was right there. And yet, if she had really been in the UK, she wouldn't have stayed hidden. She can't resist the spotlight. Think back to the Invictus Games, what should have been about veterans turned into the Meghan Markle showcase. So her total absence on this trip. That says a lot. And then there's the other missing piece, Prince William. Harry didn't see him. Not once. No meeting, no handshake, not even a polite gesture. Two brothers whose rift has been plastered across headlines. Every visit to the UK raises hopes of a reunion. But this time, nothing. William kept his distance, and that silence speaks louder than any public statement. Meanwhile, Harry kept himself busy, smiling for the cameras, popping up at charity events, dodging awkward questions. But beneath the surface, you can feel it. He's torn in two, part Hollywood celebrity, part Windsor prince, and he hasn't figured out how to balance either role. His image, his words, even his body language now carry Meghan's imprint. He speaks with drama, leans into emotion, and performs every moment for an audience. That's not the Windsor way. Royals thrive on restraint, not spotlight. Meghan's approach is the opposite. Feelings first, cameras rolling, tears on cue. And Harry has fully absorbed it. You can see it in small moments, like when a child casually mentioned having a brother in the same school. Instead of smiling, Harry grew tense, muttering about how that must drive him mad. The kid just shrugged, no, we're friends. But Harry had already projected his own strained bond with William onto a stranger. It was uncomfortable. And telling. Because here's the truth, Harry is still carrying that baggage everywhere he goes. Every handshake, every charity photo, every family visit has a shadow hanging over it. The question is always the same: what's the real angle? After years of turning private pain into public content, people don't see a simple tea with the king anymore. They see a possible Netflix pitch, a book chapter, a speaking tour teaser. And Meghan? She doesn't need to be in the room to shape the story. That reposted clip wasn't random. It was a signal. A reminder that she's still part of the narrative. Still claiming her stake. Still making sure the spotlight never strays too far. Which is why that 55-minute meeting between father and son, meant to be about reconciliation, may have done the opposite. It highlighted the fractures, the distance, the theatre of it all. Charles went back to Scotland without ceremony, Harry flew back to California, and Meghan managed to stay present without ever showing up. That's the power she wields, invisible, but everywhere. Out in California, Meghan was waiting too, with a smile, a caption, and just enough mystery to keep everyone guessing. Harry's quiet tea with King Charles wasn't really about reconciliation. It felt more like a calculated chess move in a family feud stretching across continents. Charles played the role of host with royal restraint, but Meghan's presence still lingered in the narrative. Even when she's not there, somehow she's everywhere. The truth is, that 55-minute meeting revealed more cracks in Harry's personal life than it repaired with his father. The optics tell the story. Charles didn't rearrange his schedule for Harry. He was already in London on royal duty, and Harry was simply squeezed into a spare slot. The moment it ended, Charles headed straight back to Scotland. No shared meal, no photo op, no father-son bonding. Just business. To many, it looked less like reconciliation and more like control, a staged moment to show the public the monarchy wasn't broken. And Meghan's response? Not outrage, not statements, but a perfectly chosen piece of Instagram confusion. She reposted a clip of Harry play-fighting, hearts and all. On the surface, harmless. But really, it was a signal, a reminder, a flex. She blurred the lines. Was she there? Was she filming? Was she supporting Harry from afar? None of it was true, but the questions alone were the win. That's Meghan's strategy. It's not about facts, it's about distraction. And this is the trap Harry's caught in. Every step he takes, every headline with his name, Meghan finds her way into the frame even when she's thousands of miles away. While Harry seems to be searching for order, Meghan is playing an entirely different game, one built on mystique, influence, and quiet power plays. That repost wasn't about Harry bonding with a child. It was Meghan reminding the world that he's still firmly part of her story. Then there's William. The silence between the brothers is deafening. No wave, no public appearance, not even a polite leak to hint at progress. William was around, but he chose not to engage. And that speaks volumes. If this was truly about reconciliation, both heirs would have been present. Instead, William opted out completely, a sign of how deep the mistrust really runs. Meanwhile, Harry has become the picture of contradiction. One moment, he demands privacy. The next, he's sharing family secrets on global platforms. He preaches protection, then Monaizes confession. Back in the UK, smiling for cameras, he feels caught between two worlds: royal blood and Hollywood habit, tradition and PR spin. The result? A man pleasing no one, losing the polish of his Windsor roots, and replacing it with the intensity of a media-trained performer. Harry speaks in emotional monologues, even when a simple response would be enough. He reacts defensively to harmless remarks, like that awkward moment with the child who mentioned his brother. It wasn't just uncomfortable, it was telling. It showed how much Harry's private wounds still bleed into his public life. Every encounter becomes another chance to revisit unresolved pain. And people are beginning to grow weary of it. Which leads us back to Meghan's strategy. She isn't physically present, but she still manages to command the narrative. The difference is, this time, she's doing it with silence. That's unusual for her. Meghan has always thrived in the spotlight. But now, she's discovered how absence itself can fuel curiosity. Where is she? Why isn't she standing beside Harry? Is she hiding, or is she planning her next move? And with those unanswered questions, she captures attention without saying a word. This is the cycle Harry can't escape. Every attempt at independence is pulled back into a shared spotlight with Meghan, whether she's there or not. The royals see it. The press sees it. And now, the public does too. What should have been a straightforward family meeting between father and son becomes a stage play in 3 acts. Charles, Harry, and Meghan, the unseen presence shaping the scene. Royal watchers aren't buying the fairy tale anymore. Once, people sympathized with Harry's decision to break away from the monarchy. But after so many twists, no one's sure what's genuine and what's just performance. His brief tea with Charles didn't look like healing. It looked like a carefully placed prop in a larger act. Because beneath the smiles and polite headlines, the dysfunction remains. And Meghan, whether she steps into the frame or lingers in the shadows, always stands at the center. The shift in Harry is striking. He no longer moves with strategy, but with raw emotion and impulse. Defensive interviews, rushed reconciliations, unscripted speeches, he's trying to stitch together an identity that doesn't fit. He wants to be the modern family man in America, yet still be treated like a prince in Britain. But it doesn't work that way. Once you step away from the crown, you step away from its weight. And respect, once lost, is nearly impossible to reclaim. Just look at the military. When soldiers withheld their salute, it wasn't just a protocol snub, it was a symbol. A message that the uniform, the crown, and the loyalty that comes with them cannot be half-claimed. That moment when Harry stood before the soldiers and received no salute, no acknowledgement, was more than uncomfortable, it was symbolic. For a man who once wore the uniform with pride, served in combat, and represented British honor, it was a sharp reminder of what is lost. The military isn't just about tradition, it's about loyalty. And when Harry chose to expose palace secrets, he broke that bond. It's not hatred that fuels the silence, it's mistrust. And in royal and military circles, trust is everything. Harry spent his last bit of it. Even King Charles's handling of their meeting spoke volumes. There was no red carpet, no photographers staged to capture a touching reunion. Just a private conversation behind closed doors, lasting less than an hour. It was polite but cold. Permission, not affection. And when the clock struck, Charles left. Back to duty. Back to Scotland. Leaving Harry, once second in line to the throne, with a stark reality check. His place in the royal family has been reduced to formality. Meanwhile, Meghan's silence is as calculated as any speech. She knows showing up would trigger backlash, so instead, she shapes the story from afar. Subtle Instagram posts, carefully chosen shares, and just enough presence to spark curiosity. She stays relevant while avoiding responsibility. Harry takes the blows in public, Meghan manages the narrative in the background. And though she insists she doesn't care about public opinion, her every move betrays the opposite. That innocent repost of Hello magazine with hearts. It wasn't casual. It was her quiet reminder, don't forget who's still pulling strings. But the mystery act is wearing thin. Meghan's crafted vulnerability, shifting image, and curated silence are losing their effect. People are tired of the performance. And paired with Harry's endless victim narratives, the public isn't leaning in anymore, they're tuning out. His problem isn't Meghan or even the monarchy now. It's credibility. Too many conflicting stories, too many emotional tell-alls. At some point, the audience stops believing. And if another Netflix special or memoir drops, will anyone care, or will they roll their eyes and say, here we go again? That's the danger of overexposure. When every moment becomes content, nothing feels genuine. Harry is dangerously close to becoming a caricature, the prince who cried wolf. Meanwhile, the monarchy marches on. William's silence, Charles's distance, Camilla's restraint, it all signals the same truth. They aren't waiting for Harry. They've adapted, playing the long game. They know public sentiment shifts, and with time, Harry and Meghan's drama will fade into background noise. And it's already happening. The scandals that once shook the world now barely stir conversation. Outrage has turned into indifference. The public isn't shocked anymore, they're bored. And in the media world, boredom is fatal. If Harry and Meghan don't evolve beyond this cycle, they'll be replaced by the next controversy. Fame doesn't last, and once attention slips away, it rarely returns. So while Harry clings to fleeting moments with his father, hoping for reconciliation, the truth is clear. The door may still open for him, but the heart behind it isn't waiting. And Meghan? She's already moved on.